Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I have something that is very representative of the hobby that we are in. Anybody that collects comic art, there's a lot of cool people out there. A lot of kind people. We have joint interests, similar interests in comic art. And I've talked about this before, and part of my reasoning for recording these videos and putting it out there, it's not just I don't just want to be like, oh, look what I have and show off my stuff. I like putting it out there to talk about, to get others, to maybe see something that they like, or they want to, be inspired to maybe do some of these as well. I just like the stories that are shared when other people share their stories about the art they collect, and I like being able to do that as well. But in doing that, what happens is you make more connections in the hobby, and that's a wonderful thing, because yes, it's about the art, but like it's fun to meet fellow people out there that we wouldn't have otherwise. So what I have is a gift from a fellow collector, and collector that anybody in the hobby that has watched videos on Comic Art Live, Ruben's channel. He's all over the place when it comes to comic art videos. He goes by number one Marvel fan. His name is actually Tom. Now Tom is a guy that I actually met at OAX back in January. And I started recording these videos in November of last year, and so I had only posted a couple videos by the time OAX had rolled around. But during the VIP, the opening night reception, Tom came up to me. You obviously recognized from the videos, and he just had some nice words of encouragement. He said that he liked the videos, to keep doing it, and I just thought that was a really kind gesture. Like I hadn't met him to that point. I'd seen his handle, the number one Marvel fan, in the chats before, but I didn't know who he was, and I just thought it was a really cool gesture. So yeah, so throughout the weekend, touch base, talked a few times. He and his wife were there, but it's just it goes to show you like what this hobby is actually all about. And it's the people that you meet. I know it sounds kind of corny, but I don't care. Like that's what it is. That's what it's about. You meet people that otherwise you never would, and that's a cool thing. Yeah, I won't get into the whole like when you get older, things kind of turn inward. Like it's not like I'm out there, not a lot of people in my real world life, that are super into this kind of stuff. So opening it up to put these videos out there and become a little more seen in the hobby, it opens up those relationships, and I think that's really cool. So anyway, all of that to say that Tom sent me a package. There was something that he had received. He got it in it was a freebie that was given to him through a purchase that he made during the Dueling Dealers comic art show on Comic Art Live. And he said, look, this is something that is not up my alley, but I know it's up yours, so up yours. I know it's up your alley, so if it's would you want this? And I said, yeah, sure. I said, let me, he's like, yeah, I got it for free. I mean, just, I'm happy to send it your way. And I said, well, let me at least pay for shipping. Let me do something. And he declined. And that's just really cool. So let me get this open and we'll talk about what it is. And we'll go from there. So let's see. Packaging out here. All right. Okay, so this is really fun. It's a fun thing. It's something I would never have probably picked up on my own, but it's a cool piece. So, all right. So let's get this open. It is a color guide. You know, he's seen some of my videos talking about how I have some color guides and how I appreciate them, and so not only is it a color guide, it's of a character or a version of a character that I enjoy and I've shared art of on the channel before. So Steel. So it's a color guide by I think his name's John Calise. It's like Kalizz. I've never actually heard it pronounced like Calise. I'm not sure, but he did a lot of color. He's done coloring for Marvel, DC. Did a lot of he did some coloring for like back when the Ben Riley was Spider-Man. I know he did some coloring on some of those books. Yeah, a lot of DC stuff. But this is the the Steel movie from 1997 with Shaquille O'Neal as John Henry Irons. Now, the Steel movie is not good. It's it's like I remember. So I've warmed up to it over the years. When I first saw it, when it first came out, I rented it. I didn't go to the theater to see it, but I rented it, and because I was big into Superman stuff, even though I knew after seeing trailers for the movie that I was like, it wasn't really. It's not tied to Superman. He doesn't have the S on his chest. It's just kind of like this, you know, a version of Steel that is not necessarily tied to the DC universe. Which at the time I didn't understand why that was being done. I still don't really understand why that choice was made. I think it was just Shaq was a big Superman fan and he, you know, put his star power behind uh, getting the movie made, and the movie was made for better or worse. Um, Now, so like I said, over time I've warmed up to it. But much like Batman and Robin, when Batman and Robin, that movie came out when George Clooney was Batman, when that came out, I was angry. As a teenager, I was like, this is stupid. This is why would they do this? Like I liked the tone of the Keaton movies. I liked Batman Forever, but it definitely it's a shift in tone. But I enjoyed it. Uh, and then Batman and Robin, I was like, they went off the rails. Like this is terrible. Um, but over time, I've really warmed up to that movie because if you view that movie as a '90s movie version of the 1966 Adam West show, that movie is pretty good. It kind of fits that campy style. So I view Batman and Robin through that lens, and it's a much more enjoyable watch. But so Steel, well, I can't say like it has that same level of like, oh, this is a campy version of has that feel. It's still kind of fun in the choices that were made for the movie. So and I don't want to like slam the movie totally. It's just it's one of those things like I still don't think it would. I don't think it should have existed with outside of like being tied to Superman. But it's something. So I can put it on in the background and just have it on. It's something that I don't know that needs my full attention, but it's kind of fun to have on in the background, which I've done before. So anyway, so this is actually a really nice splash page from the movie adaptation comic, which was also it was art by John Bogdanov. So obviously the co-creator of Steel, that was great. Like that was and I want to say did let me check here. I'm curious if Louise had wrote the movie comic adaptation too. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think she did, but she did. That's so yeah. So she did. I thought she was associated with it too. So yeah. So Louise and John did the writing and the art, and then the inker was Dick Giordano for the project. So it had some solid names on the movie adaptation book, but it's a book that I've never read. I've seen art, over the years. I've seen some other color guides. Anthony's comic art. He has a bunch of these color guides on his site. I don't remember seeing this one. I don't know if this was just not on the website or maybe I just didn't dig enough. I mean, because there's a lot of color guides on there. Um, but it's a great splash of the character of the suit. I think the art is solid. You know, so as a standalone piece of like a color guide, it's really cool. I do really cool. I do really like it. So I'm very appreciative to Tom for sending this out one out to me. Let's see, it's kind of like I think it's just taped on there, and there's an overlay. Yeah, there we go. So you can. It was like a the color. I think it was the yellow. They were like separating. Yeah, but it's just a product of the time of the production, comic book production. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this one. Tom, I will track you down at OAX, and I will make good, and I will definitely buy you a beer, buy you dinner, or something. I definitely appreciate you doing this. So yeah. Anyway, and actually, side note, today is actually Tom's birthday. So I mean, I don't know how it's his birthday and I get a present, but I'm okay with that. I like how that works. So, anyway, thank you very much for watching this one. Happy birthday to Tom. Thank you to Tom. And yeah, I will see you all soon.